Yo, Jordy, before the break, we were talking about tattoos and stuff like that, but a lot of people don't know how artsy you really are. Like, you really can draw and paint and you design like clothes and stuff like that. Like, talk about like the other artsy stuff that you like are into and stuff.
Yeah, it kind of started with my old man. He was always real good at like seeing something and being able to replicate it straight away.
Wow.
Like I remember vividly him drawing a tarot card, and it was like the, not the Grim Reaper, but like the Gremlin or something like that. But it's like this old guy with a cloak and like a staff and like this bird and all that kind of stuff. And he was using charcoal, like charcoal pieces, right? And like he recreated that tarot card with charcoal. And so like I remember early conversations, I got my art from my old man, but he would always say to me, like, I can replicate something, but you've always been able to come up with a character in your own head. And so like that's
Like
something
from
that
scratch.
like I was always from a kid, like drawing crazy characters and coming up with like weird characters and all that kind of stuff. And even just recently I was talking to someone about this, that I've always had this thing where like I could look at some bricks or some grass or something like that, and I'll see a character in the grass,
Okay.
like the way that, like a cloud shaped.
Yeah, people
or
look
like,
at clouds, yeah.
yeah, like that's like the most common thing or whatever. But I'll see that kind of stuff like in a lot of places,
Dope.
But yeah, I was always just able to kind of, come up with like
creative in
random
you.
characters and stuff. And so it kind of started there. I just had like, as a kid, just books and books of like drawing cars and like, characters and everything. And that ended up going into like tattoo designs and all that kind of thing. I dabbled a little bit when I was younger. And like when I'd moved out of home, like I was tattooing the homies, tattooed,
shit, okay.
tattooed like, some friends and stuff, like a couple girls would come over and get like a love heart on their hand each, or like little things or whatever. But like, I just wanted to be creative and artsy, and like, tattooed my housemate a couple times, tattooed myself a few times.
Damn, that's dope as fuck.
COVID, I got back into that a little bit, like blacked out some of my left arm just during COVID, just sitting there, just,
Oh, wow.
just having fun with it, doing COVID things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've always really loved just being able to let my like, creative juices do their thing, no matter what it is, like whether I'm drawing on paper or I'm doing digital artwork on my iPad, or, customizing a skull or a skateboard, or like you said, like, just dabbling in a bit of like, apparel design and all that kind of stuff.
Have
it
you
doesn't
ever
matter
thought
what it
about
is,
like
it's,
making your own like clothing brand?
I think the clothing industry is very saturated right now, and it's hard to be authentic these days.
I see.
A lot of the brands that I really love outside of like the business, outside of Culture Kings, are brands that have like a really, really strong brand DNA. And like, it takes a lot to have that. It takes a lot to be really good. And like generally a lot of businesses fail within the first year, but a lot of clothing businesses never really find their traction and never really pop off.
Wow.
I know a lot of guys that, back home are doing clothing and have had brands for a long time and they haven't been too successful. But then I know a lot of guys that have done well with it,
Right.
Actually like shout out Perth. Out of all of Australia, I know I'm a little bit biased from being from Perth originally, but if you're Aussie and you really know your brands, you'll agree with me that Perth has some of the best brands, not only in Australia, but in the world.
Wow.
Like that's like, so it's a good thing to answer like that question, I guess. Like I wouldn't want to design my own, have my own brand, but I would love to house my own store that was a selection of product that I chose, and most of it would honestly be from Perth.
Yeah,
because
that's
like we
fire.
got like Butter Goods over there, we got Lo-Fi Store, we got Banks, shout out to the boys at Banks, we got Street X, shout out to Dan Bradshaw doing everything that he's doing with Street X for like, the Perth community, with the brand and with his athletic division as well. He's now connected to like the UFC and making some big moves there. But I could go on. Like I was just recently telling myself I need to make a video that's just about like Perth brands.
Yeah,
because I could
for
probably
sure.
do like a 6-parter that's literally
Are
just
any of the
talking
brands,
about
those brands that you mentioned, are they ever in Culture Kings, like at the Perth store, or
not in the Australian stores? A lot of those boys prefer to keep their things a little bit
Independent?
more like independent, a little bit more boutique-y and stuff
Okay.
like that. But we have stocked Banks in the US store a couple times, and that it went really well. They did some like
Wow.
Vegas specific stuff. But yeah, all those guys have been going for, brands like Street X been going for, 10, 15 years now. The Banks boys are coming up on, I think they're 10 years now. And these are all guys that like I kind of, grew up with.
Dope.
And yeah, it's great to see Perth people doing their thing. I mean, Australia's got a lot of really great talent around the world. And I love seeing it. Like I love any like Aussies that are in sport, Oscar Piastri in the F1, Alex Volkanovski and all the Aussie boys in the UFC.
Yeah.
Miller in the GP. There's so many. I mean, there's like a fella that just won like with the Seahawks.
Oh, right.
There's Aussie fella that played for the Chiefs. There's Aussie player that fell. Like, there's always like a good, at least one Aussie. And then, with the DJing and whatnot, like, look at what like Fisher, Dom Dollar, Odd Mob, like, look at all these guys have done. Rufus Dussault, like,
killing.
Some of these DJs, like, from Australia and like just some of the talent coming out of Australia in the last like 10 years or so is really cool. Even actors as well, TV shows, like all that kind of stuff. Like, a lot of people don't even realize who, the Australians are, but we've been getting a shine. And I will say, like, there's been like a little bit of a narrative. It's definitely been like pushing the Australian narrative a little bit over here. Like, you see more people playing themselves as Aussies in movies and shows.
Oh,
you see a lot more like true. DJs and like people doing their thing. And it's great. Like, I love, like, I consider myself, they don't consider me because, like, who the fuck am I? But I consider myself to be one of these, Aussies that are kind of out
Definitely,
in the world doing their thing. And I love bumping into other Aussies that are also doing their thing, like even here in Vegas, shout out Kurt Joseph, DJ Kurt, you probably bumped him a few times in the scene, but he's out here doing his thing at a lot of different clubs, DJing and
Shout
whatnot.
out to my homegirls Horizon too. They're on a Star Search on Netflix, like killing it out there. They're Filipino and they're Aussies too. So yeah, man.
I mean, there's so many great things. I think like Australia is influenced a lot by the US, but then they have like, their own niche on things and like their own scope on things. And like, they're bringing like a real, like, real innovative scope to a lot of what they do. And I just love seeing, like, I'm definitely, I've always been proud to be an Australian, but leaving, any time you leave where you're at or like step away from something outside looking in, you appreciate things a little bit more.
For sure.
But yeah, I consider, Australia to be, the best country in the world just because of the people, like
what's something that you miss, like when you moved to Vegas, what's something that you really, really miss from home, or certain things, like a list of things?
For sure, the food, man.
Yeah, like what kind of, what's like a go-to?
Here, like, I mean, Vegas is cool and everything, but unless like you're wanting to pay an arm and a leg every single night to eat,
facts.
You're not really getting the best food. Even when you go to the supermarket, some of it's a little bit questionable, whatever.
Right.
But back home, like the food is good. And those who have been there, like the people from the US that have been over there that I talk to, they're like, yeah, I agree. Like the food's good. But I miss like the things that you just can't get anywhere else, like a good meat pie.
Yeah.
The only things that I have over here, I keep a couple things of chicken salt in my cupboard.
Yeah.
I always keep a couple of jars of Vegemite around. There's a few things that like I'll order, like Tim Tams and that kind of thing. But I cannot wait to go home and get myself a meat pie.
Man,
like I'm going as soon as I touch down.
Where to get the meat pie at? From what place? What restaurant?
Anywhere. Like it's not really like a restaurant thing. Like we have like what we call like a deli or a bakery.
Okay.
That are just like, you walk in and it's just like a glass front and it's just got all the pies inside, or it's like a pie warmer and whatever.
Okay.
But all different types, meat pies, meat and onion, steak and onion, whatever.
Man,
chicken.
that shit sounds fire. I ain't gonna lie.
That is some good place. There's actually a place back in Perth. I'm pretty sure they're in the in the east coast now, but on the west coast there's a place called Jester's Pies.
Okay.
And they were like these little like puff pastry pies that are kind of made in like it's like a pie, this like pie maker thing.
Yeah.
But really thin and fluffy, and they do all these really cool flavors. They do like a bomb bacon and egg.
Oh shit!
Like pie.
Yeah.
And it's elite. It's
damn
elite.
really.
It's like but you want to buy 3 of those things every time you go. Man. But there's a lot of like cool things like that. Cool like food that you can't really get anywhere else. I mean, it's very unique. The animals, the food, the people, the culture. It's a very, very different place. If you haven't
was it hard for you to adjust when you the first year you moved to Vegas?
Yeah, the food was hard to adjust. I got to the fattest I'd ever been.
Oh man.
Yeah, I went to like the biggest I'd ever been over here in Vegas, just getting used to food and just kind of, that was when I was doing a lot of the recruiting and like we hadn't opened the store. We haven't done anything like on marketing, nothing. It was just like solidify the foundations of the team, right? So like I hired 120 people, can't remember how many interviews it was, but I interviewed in total like 1,500 people in group interviews over the space of like a couple months kind of thing. It was just like every week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, more like multiple group interviews a day, calling people, setting them up. Like it was crazy, but I was just not as active and just like hella busy and just not as active and just trying to get used to the food and like, you know, didn't really know where to go to like the supermarket or nothing like that. So got real chunky for a little bit there, and then we opened the store, and then the work that I put into the store. And then you lost all that weight. No, for real, like it honestly rocked me, like in like a bad way. Like I was cooked for a little bit when we first opened the store because I had gotten really big, and then just got so consumed with like building the store out and training the team and like all the events that came around it and all the like the pop-up events and like expo, all that kind of stuff, that I then lost all my weight and went to the skinniest I'd ever been. Jeez. So I went from the biggest to the skinniest I'd ever been in the
course of like a year.
In the course of like a couple months.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I felt like I was a UFC fighter doing a cut.
Yeah,
like,
for real.
You know,
or an actor trying to
without even realizing it. It wasn't until like we had opened the store and I'd taken a bit of a step back and I was like, oh shit, like my eyes are sunken in my head. My you know, I've got dark rings around my eyes. Like I can see my ribs and like my pants don't fit me anymore. And I was like, damn, like. So there's been a couple times where I've had to check myself, and you know, I'm a motivated, ambitious dude that's just trying to make it like everyone else. And sometimes you forget to look after yourself, and especially when you've got a lot of people that, you know, rely on you and that depend on you to keep on hustling. And
especially like you're a workaholic like yourself, you know, and you're a perfectionist. So it's like you might even forget, damn, I forgot to eat today, and it's already midnight. You know what I mean? Like,
I like to say that I intermittent fast, but it's not that. It's just that I don't find the time to eat. Yeah. Like I go home and I eat, you know, a good dinner, cook, and, you know, make sure there's like good fruit, veggies, whatever.
Yeah. Like a balanced diet.
During the day, I just don't find the time.
Man.
You know, just can't find the time to like even eat like a good meal or anything. Just too busy. You know
that's
how
what I'm saying. You ever feel like you need more than 24 hours in a day? You're like, damn. Like,
oh, for sure. I just said recently to someone that like I really just wish that like life would just like pause just for a second.
Yeah.
Just so I could kind of be present and just like, you know, take a breather and not feel like, you know, someone needs me or someone's dependent on me or like someone needs something or like they need a phone call or whatever. Like there's just, you know, I was speaking to one of the homies the other day and he was like, man, my housemate, like, you know, doesn't pay rent, and like that, like just underlining stress of knowing that we haven't paid rent, you know, that I hate that feeling because it makes me anxious, blah, blah, blah. And I was thinking to myself, I didn't say this to him, but I was thinking to myself when he was saying that, I'm like, damn, like that's the feeling that I have every day that I've never been able to get rid of. Wow. There's always something pending. There's always something someone needs, or there's always something that I need to do. And, you know, like I'm, you know, out here on a bit of an island, you know, running things with like the retail and like the teams and stuff like that. And, you know, I'm kind of my own source of my own motivation. You know, there's not really anyone checking up on me. I don't necessarily like report to someone, you know, on a daily basis or whatever. And I love being given trust and, you know, carte blanche to do what I need to do, but because they trust me that, you know, I'm going to do the job to the best of my ability. But
well, you need those days to reset too, like those.
Yeah. And that's what I've been working on, is trying to build, you know, foundations around me in all aspects, personal life and professional, in order for people to be able to like take some of that weight, you know?
Right.
But yeah, definitely, you know, I've got my trip home next month to do my visa again.
Dope. And, how long are you going to be back home?
I'm planning on being home for like a month.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to...
So can you bring some meat pies for us? Because me and Heartbreaker need to try some.
I'll freeze them and I'll send them back. Yeah. But no, I'm going to... I want to try and make some pies, you know. I want to make them and then maybe bring them in fresh or something like that to work when I'm back. Like that's something that I wanted to do, is get into that, get more into the cooking and do that. But I'm looking forward to going home, and it's been 3 and a bit years since I've been back. So planned on, you know, doing my visa, which you have to kind of be there for at least 10 days. You do your interview, re-interview for your visa, get accepted or not. Hopefully get accepted. We are getting accepted. We're manifesting that.
Or you can get married.
No. I'm not someone who like.
Get married, bro.
I mean, I'm someone who like that'll happen, but I'm not someone who wants to do that for a visa.
Opportunity, yeah. No, absolutely. We don't condone that here.
I want to do it for the right reasons.
For sure.
I don't want to do it just because. I want to do it because I do really care about who I'm with and whatnot. And,
absolutely.
So I want to go home, get my visa. That'll take like 10 or so days. And then I decided just to try to like elongate that a little bit and take the time, make the most of the trip because, it's a 16-hour flight straight run. So like you want to make the most of the time while I've got it over there. So first things first, I'm going to go drive out to LAX, fly from LAX straight to Melbourne. I get there 9:30 a.m. in the morning on I think like the Friday. Mm-hmm. Next day is Formula One, round one. So Australian GP, get to see Oscar Piastri, round one. My little brother's flying from Perth to meet me in Melbourne. It's his first time in Melbourne.
Wow.
I then went and he got the tickets for F1. I'm going to pay him back for that when we get back because like it was just easier for him to sling those. But, I went and bought tickets to, like Australian football. AFL,
yep. Yeah, like big, like New Zealand people are in there. And
that's rugby, like NRL, like the National Rugby League. This is like footy, like different sport altogether. There's a few people that know about it over here, but not too many. It's just an Australian sport, and it's round one of the footy as well. And my little brother, because he's never been to Melbourne, he's never been to the stadium there. That's the MCG, the Melbourne Cricket Ground, like. That's 101,000 people stadium. Sheesh. They'll pack it out for that opening round. This is like two of the biggest teams in Melbourne playing for the first round, and I got tickets. So
that's fire. Hell
gonna be great to go. Catch up with him, then do my visa. Got a couple other things planned as well, and gonna try and vlog.
Obviously. Oh, vlog too. Okay.
Yeah, going to try and vlog the whole trip. Visit some family in Melbourne that I've got, and then try and shoot home to Perth. Take that 5-hour flight quickly over to the West Coast and see some people, catch up with like grandparents and all that kind of stuff, make sure I'm doing the things that, might not be around to do as years come and whatnot. We're getting older and so is everyone else in our families. And
when you go back to Australia, do you ever feel like it's not home anymore? Like when I go visit my parents in Cali, I can't wait to come back to Vegas now. As much as I need a break from Vegas a lot, I just my bed in Vegas feels like my bed now than my bed back at my...
that's a given. Like I always much prefer my shower, my bed, my pillow, all that jazz. But this one's a weird one for me because although that is the case, I've like had a good think about it before going home this time, and I do miss it, and I do miss certain people, and obviously I miss my family and stuff like that. Yeah. It's something that I haven't given enough time to think about because I've just been so on the go and one thing to another since being over here. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be good, and I think this time around I'm kind of looking at it through a different lens, and I've learned a lot about myself since being over here and being away from everything that I know. And I've tried to grow as a person, and with that, I've realized different things about myself and my upbringing. And like, to be honest, like, there's things that I want to talk to my mum about. There's conversations that I've never had the chance to talk to like my old man about. Like I want to go see my grandparents and whatnot. Unfortunately, on my dad's side, my grandparents are both, heavily dealing with dementia. So I don't know how those conversations are going to go, but just taking like the time to have conversations and, catch up with my little brother, catch up with family on like a genuine, like properly though, cause I've never taken that time. I've always been too busy. I was always doing a lot, like no matter what, how I was, what I was doing.
Right.
And I've never really, for lack of a better term, I never prioritized.
Yeah.
Seeing family and speaking to family and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of things that I've thought about since being over here that I do want to communicate with them.
Especially the older we get, our parents and family members are getting older as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like when I'm ready to have my kid, I want to be able to know like as much as I can about like my family and like, be able to tell my kid because they're going to want to know, just like I want to know about, my grandfather and my grandmother and like what they did and who they were younger. And like I think being over here, even though, you know, I'm on the other side of the world, I probably have the best relationship that I do with my little brother, with my dad, with my mum. Like, you know, distance.
Do you think that because you moved to the US?
Yeah, that and like
being away?
You know, I think a lot of the time when I moved from Perth to Melbourne, it was hard for them to understand the why. But they understand who I am now, and I understand like kind of how I operate and what I need to do, and you know, what I want to do in life. And I think they've taken it upon themselves to try and understand me, and with that, I was able to develop a better relationship because I could feel that understanding, and yeah, just the distance, you know, like it changes your priorities. You know, sure. You realize a lot of things when you remove yourself from situations, and when you have that outside looking in lens. And you know, now I see my family, you know, for what they are, and I see how they communicate and don't communicate with each other. And I'm now like, you know, this outside looking in, like I said. Right. And I think I've always kind of been a bit of a mediator within my family. And, you know, there's like any family, there's a lot of things that have gone on since I've left. And, you know, I just want to go home and make sure everyone's supporting each other still, and like make sure everyone's, you know, backing each other. And yeah.
It's like you appreciate too, like when you remove yourself from situations, like you appreciate like, oh man, like time with family and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like you've missed out on a lot since you've been over here. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I want to genuinely just catch up. Like I just want to sit down with them and like, so tell me, like, what have you been doing for the last 3 years? Yeah. You know, like what have you really been up to? Like my little brother, you know, like he went from someone like I missed out a lot of his growing up when I like, you know, left home and stuff like that. And like the last time I was home, like, you know, he kind of expressed to me that, you know, that did affect him negatively and whatnot. And like, and that like, I've never really been there for him and stuff like that. And so that's another reason why I really wanted to try and develop that relationship with him. And, you know, when I go back this time, we do have that better relationship. And I honestly, like, I can't wait, you know, like I'm really looking forward to like catching up with him and just being able to see him as an adult, speak to him as like, you know, as a homie now. Cause like, that's another thing, like, you know what it's like, you know, trying to get the younger generation to be receptive to what you're saying and whatnot, and just being like, well, fuck me, because I can see that like you don't understand it from my, you know, point of view, and because you're young and you haven't had those times and you're just not grown enough to realize those things. But credit to my little brother, Blake, he's definitely grown a lot as a person, and he's had to grow up just as fast as what we did when we were younger. And you know, he continues to look after, you know, mum, and goes around to my grandparents' house all the time as much as he can, and you know, catches up with my grandmother and makes sure she's all good and checks in. And is he like creative and artsy like you?
Not so much. He's more hands on. Me and him have different dads. And like I said, I got that kind of, I think, from my old man. So he's not as crafty, but he has his creativity, and he's got a good little life, you know, golden retriever, nice missus, nice job. He's now, you know, he's a trade. He followed, you know, what I kind of wanted to do. He was able to actually do it. So he's a roof chippy, you know, roof carpenter and whatnot. And he's got his own little business. We just, you know, work together on his logos. He got some shirts made and stuff. And, he's doing really well, and it's, you know, I'm proud of him for kind of holding himself down, holding family down, and doing his thing while I'm over here doing my thing. And it's, you know, it makes it easier for me knowing that
he's holding the fort down for you over there,
looking after each other, and there's at least someone that's, you know, trying to make sure that everyone's still family.
That's dope. What's some advice, like, you know, obviously you have a little brother that looks up to you. So like, let's reverse the roles in a sense. Like, what's some advice that you could give the younger you, like the younger 16-year-old Jordy that just left the house, is hanging out, going out with roommates and whatnot, and getting tattoos? Like, what's some advice that you could give the younger you at that time, knowing that what you've learned in the past, you know, 3 years being here in the US and whatnot?
I mean, I think a lot of people probably look at like, you know, what did they regret, and like, you know, what would they have told them to not do something, whatever. That's not me. Like, every single decision that I've made in my life has brought me to where I am today. Absolutely. And has made me the person that I am today. Mindset, body, whatever. And so like the only advice that I would probably give myself is to try and tap into that stuff earlier. Try and tap into like something that I've always struggled with is I've always been a unique mindset, like from, early days, my parents not being able to like get through to me shutting down, like when certain things happen to like, school and being bullied and like all that kind of stuff. It wasn't until older years in my life, like the last few years, especially, that I've realized that like I am a pretty complex human being. And a lot of that realization has come from a lot of the work that I've done within, looking into my personality type. Like, I don't know if you're familiar or if we've ever discussed, once again, something that Simon first got me onto like 10 years ago, and I've done it 3 times since, is the Myers-Briggs test, right?
Okay.
And so like what that is, it's about a 10-minute questionnaire, and it's all questions that you just answer straight off the top of your head. It's things like, it's like agree, disagree, and anything in between, like strongly agree, whatever. Like
personality type.
Yeah. And so like you just like, it gives you like random everyday questions. Like, what would you do in this situation? Like, how would you handle this? Like things that are like more about who you are and whatnot. And you just answer them straight off the cuff. Right. And then at the end, it gives you like 4 letters dash and another letter. Okay. And that is your personality type.
Wow.
And that personality type is the truest representation of who we are, and everything that's happened to us throughout our lives makes you that personality type. It's nature, it's nurture, and it's all the things in between, right?
Wow.
And every single person that I've done that with, they've found some kind of positivity from it. And you read it back to them on what it's saying about who that person is. And they're like, oh shit, that's me. Oh damn, I do that. And so like something that like I really encourage a lot of people to do with that test is figure out what like your like unconscious traits are, your shadow traits, which are things that you would probably perceive to be like things that are that you see are negative about yourself that you would want to change about yourself.
Okay.
But the reality is it's part of your personality because of who you've become over the years. And it's nothing that you should try and change. It's actually something that you can integrate to be a positive thing for you.
Wow.
So for one of the things for me, for example, is like I overanalyze, like I'm a perfectionist, right? So like sometimes me being a perfectionist, like I might be doing an artwork, right? And I can't just have an artwork and it's never enough, like it's not good enough. And I have to keep on going back and whatever. And that always causes me, like a lot of the times, to overanalyze it. And sometimes I'll do something, because when you're doing things on paper with like marker, like I'll fuck up a drawing for sure, because I went too far, overanalyzed it. I try to be a perfectionist. So like one of like my mantras and like one of the things I learned with the personality stuff was what I put into things is okay and it's good enough. And it doesn't have to be perfect.
Right.
Like it's enough. Like
you probably showed it to other people too. They're like, that looks good. And you're like, no,
exactly. And I'm like, nah, I want to do this. I want to do that, whatever. But it's not, it doesn't have to be, and like I've got, several things that are shadow traits of mine that like I'm working on and that I'm like doing the work to try and make sure that I'm integrating those to be positive things, purely so that I'm not so harsh on myself, being like, damn, I need to change that about myself, and yeah, the work that I've done with people with that, like it really has helped them, and I think that kind of thing is, if you haven't done that test, like I really recommend it, because
hell yeah,
it gives you like things about your relationship, how you conduct yourself with your professionalism and your work life and career and whatever, like, how you handle friends, and kind of, takes the time to explain why you are the way that you are.
Right. And
then I've done every test that I can find in terms of trying to like find out more about myself in like the last few years, especially. I'm uniquely 2 different personality types, right?
Wow.
I'm a blend of 2. And so with the beauty of AI, you can go into any AI model, you can put your personality type in it, and then you can kind of go back and forth with the AI model and be like, okay, cool, this is my personality type. I want you to talk about my shadow traits, and I want you to talk to me about how I can integrate them to be positive things. I want you to come up with some mantras for me that I can read to myself every single day that remind me of the person that like I should be, to try and be better with these things and whatnot. But even as crazy as like, for me to develop a better understanding of myself, I went and asked it like, okay, if that's my unique blend of personalities, who else in the world in human history, have had the same personality type as me?
Right.
And it told me all these like people, right? And like I was able to to establish a better understanding of who I am and realize that I am a complex human being through that stuff. Like it was like Christopher Nolan, like the famous movie producer that did Batman, like Dark Knight and stuff. It was Elon Musk.
Oh shit!
You know, like it was people like that. You know, Steve Jobs was one of them as well. Like people, my unique blend is I'm analytical on one side. There's obviously more to it, and it's, you know, it's referenced in a certain personality type, whatever. But the gist of it is like there's my analytical side, and then my empathetic side. And so like I'm constantly like between the two, and that's why like I am who I am, because like I can break something apart, get into it, maximize resources, and like be super analytical and theoretical, whatever. But then I have this like, you know, big heart and like this empathy side of me, and I kind of, a lot of what I do, I combine those two things, and that's what a lot of those other people, you know, deal with as well. And the whole point of this, you know, what I'm saying is just good to know more about yourself, and it's good to challenge your mindset, and it's good to try and have a better understanding of who you are and who you can be. Like so many people are like, oh, people don't change. Yes, the fuck they do.
Yeah.
People change all the time, and I'm case in point. Like there's people that like might watch this right now, and you might remember me from Perth or something like that, and you might be like, oh, this guy, like fuck this guy. I remember when he did this, blah 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 blah. It's just perception of who,
for sure,
of, you know, what I was around you, and you don't have an understanding of like who I was at that time and what I was dealing with and what I was going through. Like my perception of you is different to the perception of like Heartbreaker, or the perception of like, you know, anyone that knows you and whatnot, because perception is what you know of that person from A, what you've been told, and B, the interactions that you've had with them, right? So you might show yourself a different version of yourself to one person, different version of yourself to another person, and to another person. And like none of those three people are going to see you in the same way, because every single person on this earth sees everyone in the way that they see them in, because of the like interactions they've had.
Right.
And so no one person is just a type. No one person is like, is that person. Like everyone can change. Everyone can get better and be better and, you know, strive to like be a better version of themselves. It's that whole like 1% better every day, you know, that I try to preach, you know, like that's what it is. It's looking inward and being like, how can I do better to be better for myself, for the people around me, for my family, for my partner, all those things.
Because I'm telling you that, like, just doing that, those tests and stuff, finding out where you've been, it just helps you for your future and where you're going. Which leads me to my next question.
Like a rabbit hole.
Like, what do you? I know we're only here it's only the second month of 2026. Like, what else do you want to accomplish this year? What's your goals and aspirations for this year that you want to accomplish, you know, for 2026?
Just making more time for myself to do the things that I really want to do. You know, this year, like I've got a lot of plans in place, things that I was, you know, working on last year, things that I've discussed with you, you know, back and forth a couple times. And a lot of it's things that I've wanted to do a long time, you know, like I won't go into detail until I do it, because I'm not going to be one of those people that I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And,
right.
You know what I mean? Like speaking on it, because A, someone's going to jack your idea. B, like speaking on it, like isn't going to get you where you need to be. Like,
too,
exactly. Like I'd rather work in silence, like I've said to you in the past. You know, I'd rather like when I come out and do that, I want it to be, you know, not going back to me talking about being a perfectionist, but like I do want it to be good. I want it to be, you know, solid. I want to execute.
Absolutely.
Well, you know, and so like there's like 3 or 4 things that I want to do.
I'm excited for that for you too, by the way. I wish I could talk about it, but Jordy's got some things up his sleeve.
A few things that I want to do, but like the cool thing is that a lot of what I want to do involves like some of the main people that like I really fuck with over here in like in Vegas, you know, and like it's like bringing some of those people together. What the things that we're going to be doing is going to then help with their things that they're doing individually as well. And I want it to be like, you know, it's give and take like constantly, you know, we're all taking an even cut. We're all putting in even effort, like, and we're just creating something cool, you know, and like that's something, you know, like I was saying earlier when I don't think we're on camera, like it's that sense of community. Yeah. People want community. And like, although I have a great job and like, you know, I get to, you know, be on the other side of the world and like everyone perceives that like this lifestyle that I have is like amazing. I don't have my friends. I don't have my family. I have to have a line between, I have to have a line between me and my team to stay professional. You know, I I don't have a sense of community. And so like I want to try and make, my own community, and it's going to be around just creative things. And like, we got some cool ideas. And even though I'm saying in my head that there are those, those ants, those automatic negative thoughts, even though they're there, I keep on checking myself and being like, nah, like you're just going to do it. You're going to execute, you're going to keep on going with it. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if there's one view, if there's two views, like you're going to keep on doing another one and another one. And yeah, just be creative and just, spend more time on my own things and invest more time into myself, because like I have, like, as much as people won't, believe it or whatever, like I've put 110% of myself into this business and to everybody else over here and whatnot. And I constantly, like, it's something that I've only just realized getting older, that I do give like all of me to everybody. Yeah. And I'm always willing to just like, help out someone else or like make sure that they're on the right track, all that kind of stuff. And I never really practice what I preach and do those things for myself and like, hustle like for my own things that like I'm interested in outside of like, my passion with the business and whatnot. So yeah, I just want to let my creativity do its thing, and see where that takes me.
I'm excited. I'm excited for you, man. I'm telling you, like, I kind of know about what he's talking about. Just saying, like, you got a creative mind, and I just can't wait for you to put those ideas out, for the world to see. Because, like, I mean, even you being here, like, you got a gift of gab, bro. Like, you have stories, and you can talk a lot, and like, you got to put that, like, that's a gift.
Yeah, I can talk. Anyone who knows me, like, I mean, this is also like a version of myself that, like, people at work and all that kind of stuff don't usually get to,
people will say you're quiet. Oh, Jordy's quiet. Like, he doesn't, we don't talk a lot. I'm like, yeah, until you get up in front of a microphone, you know what I mean?
Not even that is, when you get me talking about things that I'm passionate about, like if you talk about the business, I'm passionate about it and I can waffle on and like go off on a tangent. If you talk about conspiracy theories,
oh yeah, that's another thing.
I'm a full bottle.
We'll be here for 3 days.
I love that stuff. But I love anything that's interesting. Like, I love jumping on YouTube. I love researching things. AI for me has been, something cool because I can be doing absolutely anything. And I'm so curious that, like, I love being able to pull out AI and being like, hey, what's this? Hey, tell me about this. Hey, break down this, and it's the craziest things. And then, like, I'm given AI information and it's like, oh, you're right. That does correlate with this and this. And like,
oh, wow.
Like
you're
those dots,
checking the AI.
Those dots do connect. And there's some crazy things in this world that, like, we'd need another, like, 6 hours on this episode to talk.
Hey, man, it's gonna be part one, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So. No, there's a lot of cool and interesting things in this world. And, like, honestly, you should try and tap in a little bit more and open your mind to new things. Be creative. Like, ask yourself this week, like, what's something that you don't know that you want to learn? What's something that you've always been curious about? Right. Now's the time to to jump on AI, do it, or like to watch a video on something. Like, how many of us have learned things from YouTube? Exactly. Like the world's a really cool place. Like, it's, you can discover a lot of really cool things with the click of a button. And someone like myself that's creative and loves using my creativity and is curious as anything. It's a fun time to be alive. Everyone's like, I wish that I grew up in the 1920s. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't wish you grew up in the 1920s. No, what about the 1940s?
There's no cell phones in the 1920s.
Yeah, like there was a lot of things that weren't around in the 1920s. Like, yeah, life was simple, but it wasn't a great time to live in. It wasn't a great time to be alive. There's been, like, negative things in every decade since human history started. Everyone's like, oh, I wish I lived in the 1700s. Oh, okay, cool. Well, you just died of like some crazy random disease that it didn't have a cure for. Or something. Yeah. You had the sniffles and now you're dead.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's a crazy world. I think everyone should just be a little bit more open to what the world has to offer. And absolutely, it's all kumbaya.
Man, I appreciate you so much for being here, Jordy. Like, thank you so much for telling us your story and like just being able to talk to you like on some other shit instead of just like work. But man, I appreciate you. I don't think I've ever told you this, but like I appreciate the opportunity to be a part of the Culture Kings fam. You know what I mean? Like, this is probably the longest residency I've ever had in my life. Like, and it's DJing at the store. It's always a vibe, and you guys allow us to be us. You know what I mean? Like, you don't. It's we're not in a red box. Not a red box. There's not a lot of red tape, or put in a box where you got to do this by this. Like, you pretty much let us run free, and it's amazing. Like, it's made me be a better DJ, and I made some cool friendships along the way. So I appreciate that, man, for real.
Oh, I appreciate you saying so, and yeah, really appreciate being here on this fine Saturday. And you know, it's been a good chat, and yeah, definitely want to do it again. And you know, man, those things go without saying. I mean, you hold things down yourself, and you always do the right thing, and you always bring the energy whenever you're there, and you know, you're a genuine dude, and I can see that like you want to always do good and have positive impact, and I'm glad that we get to give you like a bit of a platform to do that. Yeah. We just need to find ways to do even more than that, and like absolutely. I think 2026 is about that. You know, like I
think so too. Let's
find some cool things to do, and you know, even on that, anyone that's you know around the city of Vegas that does want to maybe jump in and do a guest spot or something like that, like you know, tap out to me or to Aaron, and yeah. Let's get working, because we do. The summer's going to be different. It's going to be different. We're going to start trying to do some different things. I mean, we're always known for having that point of difference, being innovative and doing some pretty crazy things. But we're definitely looking to go one up on the previous years. So
go ahead and shout out your socials, by the way, where people can find you.
Main one that I'm on. I don't have TikTok, don't have Snapchat, don't have none of that kind of stuff. I just focus on me and my IG, like, you know, so went on private for a few years. We're back now. So at Jordy Ashley, JORDYASHLEY _
There it is.
That is me. Check me out. Follow for follow. No, we don't do that. But yeah.
Any last minute shout outs too, by the way, before we get out of here?
No, nothing. I mean, I think I gave enough shout outs on here to different people. Shout out to all the people that care about me. Shout out to all the people that, you know, care about Aaron. Shout out to all the people that fuck with HB Radio. These guys are on the come up. If you want to slide in for an interview and you're someone interesting, then hit our guys up and jump in, because this is on the way up.
There it is. Appreciate you, my brother.
Having me.
Yes, sir. Make sure you follow at HB Radio _LV at On Air with Aaron. You can follow me at IMA _Ron. Also follow Culture Kings USA. That's at culturekings.usa. And at Culture Kings. Make sure you check us out there every day of the week. And shout out to my brother Heartbreaker holding it down. And man, I'm telling you, it's what we do each and every weekend right here on HB Radio. Until next time, you know what it is. It's On Air with Aaron right here on HB Radio, Las Vegas' #1 hip hop internet station.